They were Hollywood's golden couple, nearly 2 decades of red carpets, Grammy nights, and quiet family moments. But when Nicole Kidman filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, the silence between her and Keith Urban spoke louder than any tabloid headline. Now Nicole is done being quiet. In this video, we dive into the raw truth behind their split, the betrayal she reportedly felt, the custody battle over their daughters, and the viral moments that shattered the illusion. Keith halting his Nashville concert to tell fans to stop reading shit into it after tweaking lyrics to a breakup anthem. Nicole's Instagram silence, her decision to keep the ring on just days before the announcement, and Keith's rumored rebound all paint a picture of a love story unraveling in real time. From backstage embraces to courtroom settlements, this is Nicole Kidman's unfiltered reckoning. And it's not just about heartbreak, it's about reclaiming her voice. Welcome to Past Paradise. Nicole Kidman. Nicole Mary Kidman was born on the 20th of June, 1967 in Honolulu, Hawaii, to Australian parents. Both of her parents, Anthony Kidman and Janelle Kidman, were professionals in the field of nursing. Her father, Anthony Kidman, was a biochemist and clinical psychologist, and her mother, Janelle, was a nursing instructor. Her mother was also a member of the Women's Electoral Lobby. Despite being born in the U.S., Nicole's family returned to Australia when she was about 4 years old. She grew up in the city of Sydney. When she was in her teenage years, her mother was diagnosed with cancer. Kidman took a break from her early acting aspirations to become an actress in order to support her mother in her recovery. She even went so far as to acquire training in massage therapy in order to benefit her mother. When she was younger, she participated in a few commercials and modeling jobs. She also attended the Phillip Street Theatre School of Arts in Sydney. However, her primary focus was on obtaining an education and providing support to her family. Early years. When Nicole was born, her parents participated in anti-Vietnam War protests. Her family eventually returned to Australia 3 years later. Nicole was enrolled in ballet at the age of 3, where she showed her natural talent for acting during her primary and high school years. She said she first aspired to become an actress upon watching Margaret Hamilton's performance as the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz. She revealed that she was timid as a child, saying, "I was very shy, really shy. I even had a stutter as a kid, which I slowly got over, but I still regress into that shyness. So I don't like walking into a crowded restaurant by myself. I don't like going to a party by myself." During her teenage years, she attended the Phillip Street Theatre alongside fellow actress Naomi Watts and the Australian Theatre for Young People, where she took up drama and mime, as she found acting to be a refuge. Owing to her fair skin and naturally red hair, the sun drove her to rehearse in the halls of the theater. Nicole was encouraged to pursue acting full-time, which she did by dropping out of high school. Career. In 1983, at the age of 16, Nicole Kidman made her first film debut in a remake of the Australian holiday classic Bush Christmas. By the end of the year, she had a supporting role in the television series 5 Mile Creek. In 1984, she began gaining recognition during this decade after appearing in several Australian films, such as the action comedy BMX Bandits in 1983 and the romantic comedy Wind Rider in 1986. Throughout the rest of the 1980s, she appeared in various Australian television programs, including the 1987 miniseries Vietnam, for which she won her first Australian Film Institute Award. Kidman next appeared in the Australian film Emerald City in 1988, based on the play by the same name, which earned her the second Australian Film Institute Award. She then starred alongside Sam Neill in the 1989 thriller Dead Calm as Ray Ingram, the wife of a naval officer who's menaced by a castaway at sea, who's played by Billy Zane. The film proved to be her breakthrough role, one of the first films for which she gained a lot of international recognition. During her performance, Variety commented, "Throughout the film, Kidman is excellent. She gives the character of Ray real tenacity and energy." Meanwhile, critic Roger Ebert noted the excellent chemistry between the leads, stating Kidman and Zane do generate real, palpable hatred in their scenes together. She followed that up with the Australian miniseries Bangkok Hilton, before moving on to star alongside her then-boyfriend and future husband, Tom Cruise. In the 1990 film Days of Thunder, Nicole starred as a young doctor who falls in love with a NASCAR driver. It was considered her second breakthrough film, which was among the year's highest-grossing films. Critical acclaim and recognition. In 1995, Nicole played Dr. Chase Meridian, the damsel in distress in the superhero film Batman Forever, opposite Val Kilmer as the film's title character. That same year, she starred in Gus Van Sant's critically acclaimed dark comedy To Die For, in which she played the murderous newscaster Suzanne Stone. Regarding her performance, Mick LaSalle of the San Francisco Chronicle said, "She brings to the role layers of meaning, intention, and impulse. Telling her story in close-up as she does throughout the film, Kidman lets you see the calculation and the wheels turning, the transparent effort to charm that succeeded in charming all the same." For her performance in the film, she received the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. In the following years, she appeared alongside Barbara Hershey and John Malkovich in The Portrait of a Lady in 1996. Nicole also starred in The Peacemaker in 1997 as nuclear expert Dr. Julia Kelly opposite George Clooney. The latter film grossed $110 million worldwide. In 1998, she starred alongside Sandra Bullock in the romantic comedy Practical Magic as two witch sisters who face a threatening curse that prevents them from finding lasting love. While the film opened at the top of the charts during its North American opening weekend, it was a commercial failure at the box office. She returned to the stage that same year for the David Hare play The Blue Room, which opened in London. For her performance, she received a Laurence Olivier Award nomination for Best Actress. Struggles and setbacks. In her late teens, Kidman faced limited opportunities in the Australian entertainment industry. Casting agents frequently told her she was too tall or too shy for certain roles. She was typecast as the sweet girl early on and struggled to get complex roles. She's recalled that BMX Bandits in 1983 and Wind Rider in 1986 were fun but didn't challenge her acting ambitions. Her big break took years to come until Dead Calm in 1989. When she arrived in Hollywood in 1990 after Days of Thunder, she was largely known as Tom Cruise's girlfriend, not for her talent. Industry executives and tabloids often dismissed her as a beautiful accessory to Cruise. She later admitted that she felt overshadowed and had to fight to be taken seriously as an actress in her own right. Her breakout with To Die For in 1995 was the first time critics began to recognize her as an independent, formidable talent. Kidman learned to use criticism as motivation and pushed herself towards more daring roles that broke the public and the internet. After nearly 11 years of marriage to Tom Cruise, she filed for divorce in 2001. The breakup was highly public and emotionally devastating. She later revealed that she suffered a miscarriage early in their marriage and another ectopic pregnancy leading to infertility issues. The couple adopted 2 children, but after the divorce, Kidman's relationship with them became distant, reportedly due to Cruise's involvement with the Church of Scientology. She described this period as one of the most painful and lonely times of her life. New chapter. In 2001, she took on the role of cabaret actress and courtesan Satine in Baz Luhrmann's musical Moulin Rouge, opposite Ewan McGregor. Her performance and her singing received positive reviews. Paul Clinton of CNN called it her best work since To Die For and wrote, "She is smoldering and stunning as Satine." She moves with total confidence throughout the film. Kidman seems to specialize in Ice Queen characters, but with Satine, she allows herself to thaw just a bit. She subsequently received her second Golden Globe Award for Best Actress, Motion Picture, Comedy, or Musical, among several awards and nominations, including her first nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actress. Also in 2001, Kidman starred in Alejandro Amenabar's psychological horror film The Others as Grace Stewart, a mother living in the Channel Islands during World War II who suspects her house is haunted. Grossing over $210 million worldwide, her performance earned her several award nominations, including a Goya Award nomination for Best Actress, in addition to receiving her second BAFTA Award and 5th Golden Globe Award nominations. Robert Ebert commented that Alejandro Amenabar has the patience to create a languorous, dreamy atmosphere, and Nicole Kidman succeeds in convincing us that she's a normal person in a disturbing situation, and not just a standard-issue horror movie hysteric. The following year, Kidman garnered recognition for her portrayal of Virginia Woolf in Stephen Daldy's The Hours, co-starring alongside Meryl Streep and Julianne Moore. Keith Urban. In 1991, Keith moved to Nashville, Tennessee to pursue country music, but he unfortunately faced visa issues, financial hardship, and homesickness. Keith worked as a session guitarist for other artists to survive. In 1991, he released his debut self-titled album, Keith Urban, in Australia with minor success locally. In the 1990s, Keith joined the country rock trio The Ranch, releasing one album in 1997. He gained modest recognition but still struggled to break through in the U.S. market. Keith began using drugs and alcohol to cope with isolation and pressure. He entered his first rehab program in 1998 to address his addiction. Keith built resilience and a deep connection to songwriting as emotional expression, while themes of redemption and recovery would later define his lyrics. In 1999, he released the U.S. debut album Keith Urban, capital Nashville. Singles like But for the Grace of God and Where the Blacktop Ends reached #1 on the U.S. country charts. In 2002, he won multiple Country Music Association (CMA) and Academy of Country Music (ACM) awards. In January 2005, Keith met Nicole at a Hollywood event in Los Angeles. In late 2005, they began dating each other. 2006, they married in Sydney in a private ceremony. Shortly after marriage, Urban relapsed into addiction and entered rehab in October 2006. Nicole supported him throughout, visiting daily and helping with recovery. Urban later said, "I wasn't living to my full potential. She saved my life." This period marked the turning point in Urban's life from self-destruction to healing, with Kidman's support pivotal in his sobriety journey. After marriage to Keith Urban. Nicole Kidman married Australian country singer Keith Urban on June 25, 2006 at St. Patrick's Estate, Sydney. The ceremony was intimate and emotional. It was attended by some close friends like Russell Crowe and Hugh Jackman. In 2008, her first daughter, Sunday Rose Kidman Urban, was born. Kidman described the first daughter as a miracle baby after years of suffering with fertility struggles and miscarriages. In 2010, their second daughter, Faith Margaret, was born via gestational surrogate. The couple emphasized that their family was built through love, not biology. In 2008, Nicole re-teamed with Baz Luhrmann and Hugh Jackman for an epic romantic drama. There was a mixed critical reception, but Kidman's performance was praised for emotional authenticity. They moved between Nashville and Los Angeles for filming. Later, Nicole began to prioritize projects to be filmed near her home so she could be near her children. In 2014, an incident occurred when her father, Dr. Anthony Kidman, died suddenly in Singapore. Nicole took time off to grieve, supported by Urban. He canceled some tour dates to be with her. This period deepened her emotional resonance as an actor and strengthened her marriage. Nicole often credited Urban for helping her to stay grounded and said, "Keith is my safe harbor. I can come home from chaos and find peace." Their marriage became known for emotional openness and stability. In 2003, she returned as Atlanta in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. During this time, the couple largely based themselves in Tennessee, enjoying some relative privacy while simultaneously maintaining demanding international careers. Leadership behind the camera, redefining mature female roles, balancing family and fame. Blossom Films Production. Nicole co-founded the Blossom Films production in 2010 along with her producing partner Per Sari. The vision of the company was to create strong, character-driven stories, especially with complex female leads, to produce films and television that would allow Kidman to select roles aligned with her artistic values and named Blossom as a metaphor for growth, reinvention, and blossoming creativity. This significance marked Kidman's shift from being purely an actress to becoming a creative decision-maker and producer, giving her more control over the types of stories Hollywood told about women. Their first major project was Rabbit Hole in 2010, which starred and was co-produced by Kidman. It was a story of a grieving couple coping with the death of their child. The company also produced a film adaptation of The Family Fang starring Jason Bateman and Kidman. In June 2018, Blossom Films signed a first-look deal with Amazon Studios for features, television series, and digital content. Under the pact, Amazon and Kidman's Blossom Films will develop original series that will be available exclusively on Amazon Prime Video, as well as movies for theatrical release. In May 2019, Hulu gave a straight-to-series order for the adaptation of 9 Perfect Strangers by Lane Moriarty, and it aired in 2021. In July 2019, it was announced that Warner Media's streaming service is developing a drama series called Crime Farm, with Kidman attached to executive producer under Blossom Films. Struggles while being in Blossom Films production. Kidman had to wear two hats simultaneously, as lead actress and as a producer. As for the film Rabbit Hole in 2010, Nicole, as a producer, was responsible for funding, casting, and creative decisions. As an actress, she had to deliver an Oscar-worthy performance while managing production logistics. She later admitted it was emotionally and physically exhausting. Nicole learned the difficulty of dividing focus on two things without compromising either role. She often worked 12 to 16 hours a day, trying to balance schedules with co-producers and the director. As a newly founded production company, Blossom Films struggled to secure financing and industry credibility. Many studios were hesitant to invest in female-led, character-driven projects. Early projects like Rabbit Hole and The Family Fang were considered risky for commercial release. Kidman had to negotiate aggressively and sometimes compromise on distribution deals. Nicole developed a reputation for fighting for creative control, which sometimes slowed production timelines. Blossom Films projects often required Kidman to portray intense psychological or traumatic experiences. Kidman has said that playing trauma repeatedly took a psychological toll, sometimes leading to insomnia, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion. She needed therapy and personal support to maintain her mental health during filming. As a producer, Kidman faced double scrutiny as critics judged her acting performances. They also evaluated her decisions as a producer, casting, story director, and financing. As in the film Grace of Monaco in 2014, production disputes, studio interference, and negative reviews led to blame falling partly on Kidman as producer. Challenges Nicole faced while being in Blossom Films productions. Kidman frequently had to push against industry gender norms, like studios often questioning whether a woman-led production could draw global audiences. Some executives doubted a mature female lead, aged 40+, could headline prestige projects. Kidman used Blossom Films to champion women of all ages in leading roles, but it often meant fewer studio resources and longer negotiation cycles. It required constant advocacy for women writers, directors, and co-producers. Running Blossom Films coincided with raising two young children and supporting Keith Urban. Filming schedules sometimes kept her away from home for weeks, causing guilt and personal strain. Filming Big Little Lies in California while Urban was touring internationally. Kidman admitted to feeling torn between motherhood and professional ambition, a struggle many women in Hollywood face. It required careful time management and delegation, often relying heavily on assistants and co-producers. Blossom Films' prestige projects often attracted A-list talent, which occasionally led to creative disagreements. The Big Little Lies sequel, managing personalities like Reese Witherspoon, Shailene Woodley, and Meryl Streep, involved delicate negotiation. Balancing her role as co-producer and co-star required Kidman to navigate egos diplomatically. It taught her conflict resolution skills and leadership behind the camera. Sometimes it caused stress and tension on set, but ultimately strengthened the production team. Many Blossom Films projects were not guaranteed box office hits, especially early on. Kidman invested both reputation and energy into projects like Rabbit Hole and The Family Fang, which were critically praised but modest in earnings. This meant accepting financial uncertainty while pursuing creative fulfillment. The rumors that she was getting divorced. During late 2023, both Kidman and Urban began spending extended periods apart due to career demands. Kidman was filming new international projects in Europe and Australia, while Urban was touring the US and working on a new album. Fans and entertainment media noted fewer joint appearances compared with previous years when they often attended red carpets together. The couple's demanding professional schedules began to create physical and emotional distance. In early 2024, several outlets and social media sources began circulating rumors of strain between the couple. Reports suggested they were living mostly separate lives, balancing work in different countries. In February 2024, Kidman traveled to Portugal for a long-term film production, while Urban was not seen accompanying her. Tabloids misinterpreted her solo travel and lack of appearances with Urban as signs of marital tension. In mid-2024, Portuguese news outlets revealed that Nicole Kidman had applied for a solo residency permit in Portugal, citing frequent work and personal projects in Europe. The move triggered widespread speculation that she might be preparing for an independent life abroad. Other entertainment sites reported that the residency move fueled divorce rumors, although no official comment came from either camp. Meanwhile, Urban continued touring in the United States, promoting new music without Kidman's presence at events. By the end of 2024, sources close to the couple described increasingly separate lifestyles. Nicole Kidman continued her success as a producer with Blossom Films, which kept her in Los Angeles and Europe, while Urban maintained a base in Nashville. Joyful moments together. They first met at the G'day USA Gala in Los Angeles, which is an event celebrating Australians in America. Urban later confessed that he was smitten from the first moment, though he waited a few months to call her. Kidman recalled a 2017 Ellen DeGeneres Show interview. "He didn't call me for 4 months. I thought maybe he wasn't interested. But when he did, that was it." Their connection was immediate. They were both at turning points of their lives, having faced emotional and professional transitions. This event marked the beginning of one of Hollywood's most genuine love stories. On June 25th, the couple married at Cardinal Soretti Memorial Chapel in Sydney, Australia. Kidman wore a gown, and Urban serenaded her during the reception with a song written just for her. Urban later said, "That night was the start of everything good in my life." Shortly after their wedding, Urban entered rehab, while Kidman stood by him unwaveringly and visited him daily. In July 2008, they celebrated the birth of their first daughter in Nashville. Urban shared in an interview, "Watching Nicole become a mother was the most joyful experience of my life. Early marriage is tested by hardship, but solidified by unconditional love and family growth." Around this time, they built a more settled home, splitting time between Nashville, Sydney, and Los Angeles, creating stability for their daughters. The couple's family expanded with love and gratitude, bringing calm after years of challenge. The pair became one of Hollywood's most adored couples on red carpets. In 2011, the Academy Awards and their affectionate poses drew media praise. While in 2013, Urban proudly accompanied Kidman to the Golden Globes Awards, calling her "my amazing wife." Urban joined American Idol as a judge, and Kidman began her critically acclaimed work on The Paperboy and Grace of Monaco. They often traveled together, balancing work and family life. Opening up through memoir. During 2024 and 25, Nicole Kidman maintained a professional schedule with multiple films and TV projects. She's expressed interest in eventually telling her own story through a personal memoir, which insiders report is in preparation and expected to be deeply revealing and emotional. This memoir aims to reflect on her life experiences, including her marriages to Tom Cruise and Keith Urban, as well as her career highlights and motherhood. While there's been speculation and some reports about a separation and divorce from Keith Urban around 2025, these remain private matters, with Kidman choosing to keep details discreet. She shared in interviews a readiness to embrace vulnerability and emotional transparency, and intends for her memoir to be thoughtful and impactful, leaving a genuine legacy for her children and her audience. This evolving phase marks an introspective chapter in her life, balancing personal growth and her acclaimed career. Nicole Kidman's rise after leaving Keith Urban. Just days after the divorce, Nicole made her first public appearance on the 4th of October 2025 at the AmFAR Gala in Dallas, presenting an award and wearing a bold look. She publicly addressed her mindset shortly after, saying, "I've seen a lot, I've survived a lot." Her attitude appears to have shifted toward empowerment, self-reflection, and sharing wisdom rather than just acting. Kidman is reportedly slated for a number of high-profile projects like a sequel to Practical Magic, a new season of Big Little Lies, and more. Her professional life is described by insiders as being full and looking forward rather than being stalled or in limbo. Through the transition, Kidman publicly emphasizes gratitude. "I'm grateful to be part of this world," the importance of family and connection, and sharing rather than preaching. This suggests to her that her rise is not just about career success, but also personal reinvention and self-care, like moving from being part of a couple's narrative to owning her own. She's referenced having survived a lot, which frames the separation as part of a long arc of resilience. With her first appearances post-split being confident and career-focused, her public image appears to have been shifting to one of autonomy and strength. Media articles indicate that she assumes more prominent roles. The narrative shifts to portraying her as an individual rather than as a member of a duo. The supportive role of family, her sister Antonia, and extended family, is emphasized in reports underlying the personal support system behind the resurgence. After divorce, Nicole Kidman completely exposes Keith Urban. Tabloid and social media speculation falsely suggested Kidman exposed Urban's behavior or hidden issues. In reality, no verified interviews, court filings, or press statements support claims of personal or professional misconduct by Urban. Urban himself avoided confrontation, focusing on his tour and thanking fans for kindness during a tough personal season. Kidman continued filming and producing projects like Big Little Lies, Revival, and Practical Magic 2, emphasizing empowerment and creativity rather than revenge. Nicole's public narrative centers on healing, independence, and self-reinvention, not exposing her ex-husband. She's repeatedly chosen diplomacy and privacy, saying she wishes to focus on her daughters and work. Major media outlets describe her post-divorce phase as a personal and professional rebirth rather than a scandal-driven one. Keith Urban's electrifying return. Nashville concert amid personal changes. Keith Urban performed a sold-out concert at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville on October 17, 2025, as part of his High and Alive World Tour. Fans were treated to a night filled with his biggest hits, like Somebody Like You, and new tracks from his latest album, High. The show featured high-energy guitar solos and appearances from special guests, captivating the enthusiastic crowd. This concert marked an important public outing for Urban amid his personal life changes. Although the divorce from Nicole Kidman had brought public speculation about Urban's emotional well-being, there is no confirmed evidence that the personal issues significantly disrupted his stage presence. He's continued to focus on his music and touring schedule professionally, maintaining a connection with fans despite the challenging times in his private life. Nicole Kidman's journey of self-reflection and empowerment amid divorce. In an interview published in October 2025, Nicole said, "I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot, and I've survived a lot." She also noted, "How many times do you have to be taught that you think you know where your life is going and then it isn't going in that direction?" These remarks imply she was emotionally processing and mentally preparing for change, and in effect, she was adopting a stance of self-awareness rather than denial. Amid the marital breakdown, Nicole revealed she was seriously contemplating writing and expanding her creative identity beyond acting. She said that the breakdown of her marriage, while not explicitly naming Keith Urban or detailing his actions, had made her reflect on her life direction and what she truly wanted. This shows she was actively shifting the narrative of her life and not reacting only to the relationship, but repositioning her future. In divorce filings, Nicole requested that she be the primary residential parent of her two daughters, signaling her clear prioritization of custody and stability. Reports say the writing was on the wall once Urban moved into his own residence, and Nicole and her team appear to have recognized and acted on that structural change. Such decisive steps can be seen as outsmarting in the sense of being protective and clear-minded rather than emotionally reactive. Thanks for watching Past Paradise, where Hollywood legends come home. If you enjoyed today's look into the title, After Divorce, Nicole Kidman completely exposes Keith Urban, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Got a star or story you want next? Drop it in the comments. Until then, keep the nostalgia alive. Only on Past Paradise. If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon